Welcome to Take 5 for Torah, to the Tuesday edition. That means today we are learning the next chapter of Sefer Shmuel Aleph. That means we're learning chapter 8. In this chapter, the Israelites attempt to perform what seems like a mitzvah of the Torah. It says in the Torah that when you feel the need for it, and you have come to your land and you've inherited it, then som tosim alecha melech, appoint a king that God shall present for you. Now, Chazal tell us that there are two other mitzvahs that cannot be performed unless we already have a king. And perhaps that's why for the first 400 years or more after we came to the land of Israel, no command ever came out to wipe out the remnant of Amalek. Because we're not able to do so unless we're united by one king. And then once Amalek is eradicated, then we can build the Beit HaMikdash. So if we cannot perform the mitzvahs of what to do with Amalek and to build the temple, then unless we have a king, then certainly having a king must be a mitzvah. Which begs the obvious question. If that's the case, why was Shmuel upset when Bnei Yisrael said, Ve'ata sima lanu melech kechol hagoyim, l'shaftenu kechol hagoyim. Now give us a king, place upon us a king, like all the nations around us to judge us. So I would like to suggest very quickly 5 quick reasons why Shmuel was upset with this. 1, the Rambam says, Atah. They said now. Something so important as a king, we've been led by judges for over 400 years now. If you want to change that institution so quickly, it may be the right thing to do. In fact, the Torah itself expresses the mitzvah of appointing a king, points out Ibn Ezra and Ramban and the Abarbanel and many others, that it expresses it in the format of, and you realize, hey, I'd like to have a king. We don't have any other mitzvahs like that. You don't say, I'd like to wear tefillin. So, okay, now you can wear tefillin. I'd like to do the Korban Pesach. No, okay, bring the Korban Pesach. So until we feel the need to have a king, then it's not yet a mitzvah. If we don't have a need for a king, then we can't destroy the Amalek or can't build a Beis HaMikdash. But okay, until you feel the need for a king, then it's not a mitzvah. That's how Ibn Ezra presents it. But let's say that it is the time. Even if it is to say now, give us a king, the Rambam felt that Shmuel was upset with that. They came to him like Be'erbuvia, like a multitude. We have to do this and we have to do it now. All right, we continue with the Chazal that say it was Kechol HaGoyim that angered him. They wanted to be just like all the nations. Ramban points out in his commentary to the Torah that when it repeats in the next pasuk why Shmuel was angry, it says, Vayera be'enei Shmuel kasher sha'al ha'am tna lanu melech l'shaftenu. What angered Shmuel was that they said, give us a king to judge us. Now that points out the Ran, who was the Ramban's student, that's precisely the point. They wanted to be like the nations who render so much power to their kings to be not only the executive branch of the government, but also to be the judicial branch. That's too much power. Parsha Shoftim in the Torah says Shoftim v'Shotrim. They're a judiciary, and there's Som Tosim Alecha Melech, there's the executive. Do not mix those two. Countries that mix those two are rife for destruction. So the fact that they said Tznanon Melech l'shaftenu is what angered Shmuel. Ramban agrees it's because Shmuel's job description was shofet. That's what he was. So to say get us a king to be our shofet, that's just a patch in the face. Especially when they said your children aren't good like you and you're old. Shmuel was only 50 at the time, according to Chazal. And there's a Gemara in Shabbos that says his children were not evil. So maybe they're making up stories, it's fake news. But be that as it may, Shmuel was angered by this. One final interpretation, the Kli Yakar, is that they said, Sima lanu melech. Right? It should have been Sima oleinu. Right? That's how we know that the Gemara says, Som tosim alecha melech shetahei maso alecha. You should have a king that you fear. You'll be afraid to violate the Torah because you have a king. How do we know that? Because it says oleinu, as if though the king is sitting on your shoulders. They should have said Sima oleinu melech. L'shoftenu kechol hagoyim. Right, that's the clear car. So Atah, the Rambam, kechol hagoyim Chazal, qualified by L'shoftenu to mix the judiciary with the executive. The Ramban says it was a personal swipe by saying L'shoftenu to the shofet, or the Kli Yakar, this ingenious interpretation of Lanu instead of Aleinu, because every little bit to notice in the biblical text will help us answer questions. In this case, why was Shmuel upset when they wanted to do the mitzvah of appointing a king?